Okay. We all get points this week during our Fuuto PI review.
Why the fuck am I still in? Why is there a monkey? There's just a
Uh,
monkey now.
what do you mean?
I'm down here in your fucking basement again, and there's a monkey.
Oh, I did not plan on the monkey.
Why am I in here? Why is there a monkey?
I have no idea, honestly.
Then I don't know how the fuck you did this without knowing there was a monkey in here.
I mean, like, you
Now
can
it's just
see.
showing me its butt. Why is it showing me its butt?
But yay! We all get points this week.
I want the points. I want all the points. Give me the points.
Yes, because
It's the only solace I have in this basement.
Kiku is the true alcohol dopant.
Yep, they didn't mince words. They dropped that immediately. Not even any kind of last minute left turn on us. Nope, it's her.
And it seems that Kuya did not know this at all.
Yep, which was kind of my feeling. I did mention earlier today to you that it's like he can't be ruled out now with the other girls having been the previous dopant every time. So the voice doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But at the same time, it made less sense for him to be it than his grandmother.
Yeah.
So I was still firmly in Planet Grandmother space here.
Yes. I would say it was a really interesting episode because we found out a little bit more about high dopes.
I mean, here's what I'm trying to understand. It says you awaken like superhuman powers by using it a lot over the time.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious as to what powers those would be. Because they don't, at least the one that she has, at least, which seems to be like ESP, telekinesis, doesn't seem to have any connection as to like just having an alcohol memory.
I just wrote down, and I may be paraphrasing her, but high dopes have powers beyond that of their memories.
I mean, what I saw was that was what you get when you use the dopant or the memory itself. High dopes using their memory can use abilities beyond that.
Yeah.
What it would normally give. The fact that she can use ESP outside of using the memory itself, let alone the fact that like it has no real connection to it being an alcohol memory, is what I'm not understanding.
I think that's what she meant by powers beyond that.
I thought it meant because she says you can use powers when still in human form. That was the telekinesis.
Okay, because
She talks about powers like right before transforming. She talks about powers that are stronger than what the normal memory would give.
Okay, I may have been wrong, but I took it to mean powers that your memory doesn't apply to. Thus, I have ESP.
Again, it's weird because I feel like it should have some connection because it feels like if that's the rule, you can just do anything. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing anything.
Then again, it could be just the subs we watched.
It could be. But again, if like I said, if that's the rule that they're going to go with, you have absolutely full reign to do whatever the fuck you want without any context or reasoning. Which in a show about detectives makes no goddamn sense.
Right. So, Kiku has links to Museum, which I brought up was the original villain group.
Should also point out that the term high dopes is brought up immediately by
Kiku.
No, it wasn't Kiku. She couldn't remember it. Tokime.
Oh, Tokime!
Tokime says it under her breath, like enough that like W hears it, and even Kiku hears it because she responds like, "Yeah, that's the one."
Oh, that's right.
So there might be an argument that not Kiku, that
Tokime.
Tokime could be a high dope herself, but with amnesia.
Or she was part of Museum 2, or whatever they're calling themselves.
I mean, my assumption is that at this point, based on looks alone, she's Bondo's sister.
Okay.
Like until we get more, that's kind of what I'm sticking with right now because they look too similar to ignore.
Mm. And Kiku has been loaning out the compound to museum for testing and human experimentation and other shady things.
Yep. She has that connection with Bondo, much like we had mentioned. She is totally in line with him. She's been using this memory to basically like keep the family funded and protected over all these years.
Which I
Does
wasn't aware of. I was just
I mean it
thinking,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
My question then becomes what happened to Kuya's parents? Because like she mentions protecting them, for all their years. And I'm like, well, did you fuck up? Did something happen?
Ooh.
Like, what happened to his parents?
My thought is, and this is a big stretch here,
I'm going to
they
assume they never tell us, but yeah, go ahead.
right, but they found out about her being the alcohol dopant. They were against it, and she had them killed.
She seems so against the idea of hurting her family, though, so I find that one a
Oh,
little hard to buy into.
yeah, because she apparently had this whole thing set up for Kuya.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Keep the
don't
family line going. Find someone who can inherit this ability, this dopant power.
I don't know. Yeah, now that you say she is very family forward, I don't have any backup guesses about what could have happened to Kuya's parents.
I can only assume something happened that she couldn't protect them, like a car accident or something. That is my only guess. Something that was out of her control.
So you're saying it's not memory related at all?
That's what I'm leaning toward, because I don't see how it would be otherwise.
Okay. So it gets brought up, and I was kind of half hiding this from you just in case it would have been brought up in a little bit more of a bigger way. How Philip was Ruby's, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, son, who was the main villain in the original series.
Who was what in the
The
original
main
series?
villain. It,
Uh,
yep. So
okay.
Philip's family were the villains in the original series.
They also weren't very clear about that in the show, because unless you told me that, I would never have guessed.
Ah.
All she says is like, "Oh, you used to be up here, and I met you once," and that's about it.
I thought like you would connect them being like he was the head of museum and he was your father. So
They never said anything about head of museum, at least not in the subs I saw.
ah.
Either that or I blinked and missed it. One of the two.
Okay, they may not have like said exactly head of museum, but they did mention Ruby working for museum.
I never caught that.
Mm. Yeah, Philip's parents were drug dealers, kind of.
Yep. We also found out that the girls got drugged for a little bit and got the imprint stamped on them for the alcohol memory.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was half thinking last time, but I couldn't see where that would have happened.
Yeah, because again, until now they've never mentioned them getting stamped with a gun that I can remember.
Yeah. So, they go Cyclone Joker, except, ooh boy, it doesn't work because she's
Oh man, alcohol becomes a Mr. Mime and just puts up an invisible wall.
yeah, high dopes.
I was also expecting like there to be a new variation of the alcohol dopant.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting the design to change and it didn't.
Yeah,
I was slightly disappointed.
I'm just,
The only thing we got is like a weird aura around the eyeball. That was it.
yeah, I'm slightly disappointed too that they didn't change it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, not super drastically, because this is still the alcohol dopant.
Yeah, but like some kind of like natural looking evolution to it.
Yeah. Yeah, since it's the original that's been around for so long, that is like the true form, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they call in their most powerful memory, the extreme memory.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess the pun in the name?
I'd rather not know it even exists.
What does the extreme memory look like, kind of, to you?
An X? Well, that's the way the belt changes.
Yes, but when it's in live mode, it
I couldn't tell. It looked like an eagle, maybe?
correct. Or, well, kind of, but a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what bird is in Japanese?
Extreme.
Tori. So, extorimu.
Oh, God, that's awful.
Oh,
That's still terrible.
and I remember the memes coming out of Ruby being so overly hammy once Extreme first activates. He's just screaming, Extreme! Like,
Uh-huh.
so overly hammy to the point of it just being hilarious. Do you like the design of Extreme?
Hold on. I want to look at it again.
With like the crystal down the middle.
So the weird part was, and because of the way it's designed, it's definitely throwing me. Um, Hold on, let me pull up the screenshots we took just so I can take a look at those. So when they're like the way they try to portray it is him literally splitting his body apart.
Yes.
And for a minute, I thought, like, is he just gonna be double wide? Is that gonna be this stupid thing's ability? I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm slightly disappointed it wasn't that ridiculous. It's interesting. I assume it has to be Cyclone Joker to make Extreme do this.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, you can't use any other one.
I think the toy was painted with green and purple tips on the memory slots,
mhm.
so it could only be Cyclone Joker. But I may be wrong about the toy because it's been quite a while since I've seen toy pictures. So, unlike future fan combinations, it is extremely, extremely unlikely we'll see Heat Metal Extreme or Luna Joker Extreme, although I would like to see that.
I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't add the combinations, considering that's kind of Double's whole thing.
Then again, the manga is still going on, and they did add Fang Trigger and Fang Metal, so there is always the possibility the writer is like, okay, you know what? Screw the rules. I'm the creator. There's Luna Trigger Extreme.
Yeah, like I said, again, it's definitely one of those things where it's like there's no reason why he wouldn't do that because it's the whole premise. I think it looks all right. He goes from like a weird V/W thing to an X now for Extreme, I assume.
Yes.
I'm a little also upset that I was able to immediately guess what weapon that was when it popped up. I'm like, oh, that's a shield. Wait, second guess, it's definitely a sword and shield after like a second of seeing it on screen.
Yep, the Prism Bicker.
If I remember right, a bicker is a certain type of sword too.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure. Bicker sword.
Is it like a shorter dagger like sword?
I want to say it's like a little short sword.
Oh, cool.
If I don't put sword in there, bicker. Mm, it's a noun. Altercation, bickering. That's a verb. I swear it was a sword type.
I typed in Bicker sword and
Yeah, I just
nothing.
get nothing but Common Rider. That's the problem.
Mm,
No, no, still nothing but Common Rider. Maybe I'm wrong. Wait, hold on. Let me go to images for a second.
Prism Bicker.
I'm seeing some other swords though in here mixed in,
Mm.
like actual swords. I wanted to say a bicker was like a stabbing sword, not so much a slashing sword, but
Mm,
I might be wrong. Oh well,
yeah.
it's whatever. It's not that big a deal.
So he says, "I will end this soon."
Yep. And shocker, he does it.
Yep, using a slash to open her up and reveal the memory for their rider kick, the
With a
double
stupid kick,
extreme.
which I'm so disappointed with. Do something different.
Well, if I remember, in the anime, a wind current would pick them up into the air, and they would like do a. I want to say like the wind would cause them to be a backflip into like a wind turbine, not wind turbine, wind funnel. That's what it is. Into a wind funnel, and they would cause the kick like that.
But it's still a kick. The end result, like the lead up doesn't matter. It's still the same end result.
Would you
Do a different attack. That's what I'm saying.
would you have preferred a rider punch?
It would have been different. Just stab it with the sword. Like, come on, you have the sword.
Well, like I was saying, because Ichigo would always, or most of the time, finish with a kick, the whole concept of a rider kick is an homage to the first one.
That doesn't mean that has to be every single special ending attack. You could just make that one form's attack for the homage, not every single one.
Technically, out of his 11 forms, only 3 of them have a kick.
That has yet to be shown here.
Correct.
We've only ever seen kicks.
Correct.
So until it proves me otherwise, I'm going to keep complaining. And even then, I'm going to complain because Extreme being their strongest form should not just have another kick. It should have its own unique thing.
So, I was not expecting Kiku to blow up the mansion.
No, and hello, Butler, for helping plant that shit. We were both right in that. He is an accomplice, but not directly a dopant like level involvement.
Yeah, and maybe he, like, I was wrong in saying he was an informant to Kiku about who to go after.
No, yeah, that part was definitely wrong, but that doesn't mean he wasn't part of other shit like, picking people out, or at least helping to.
Do you think he had anything with the selection process, or was it...
I personally think that might have just been straight up her and Bondo.
Okay.
Kiku and Bondo. If he had any kind of set, well, I don't know. I don't know if he would for that. I think it would still just be her and Bondo.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like the guy that takes the orders and does like the side jobs that need to be done, like driving them there and etc.
And drugging them.
Yep.
So that they could get the dopant mark on their head.
Yep, the thing we mentioned already. Yep.
Last week too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's like, take Kuya and leave. I want my grandson to live out his life.
Here was the other thing I was a bit confused by. So I was sitting here like, all right, the memory's broken. Does she still have psychic abilities? Answer, yeah. She blows a fucking hole in the side of the mansion and tosses them out.
Yeah, because...
So why does she still have that when the memory no longer exists?
Because she's been around it so long, I would say she kind of has residual powers from it.
Like, is that the actual legitimate answer of just like, you still have the power even with the source of it destroyed?
They've never had...
Or have you just soaked it in?
They've never had high dopes in the series. And
I know. Yeah, I get that that's the case, but I'm asking these questions and putting them out there.
That's my guess, that you've soaked it in so long that even when it's destroyed, you have the residual power of it.
Well, then my question would be, if it's destroyed, does that residual power like eventually fade because you're like weaned off of the drug essentially?
I will say yes, because the power source of it is destroyed. So I will say eventually you will lose all powers that you would have had.
Well, and the next question would be like, for a high dope, right? We already have talked about how like you suffer from withdrawals and shit when you don't use it frequently enough, like a regular version.
Mm-hmm.
How much harder is that for a high dope? Like, will they straight up die from the withdrawals? Again, this is, I know we don't have answers for this. I'm just putting it out there as a question to like prompt not only your brain but like anyone listening.
That would be Huh. I'm not sure now.
Yeah, because I would think the addiction on a high dope, especially with the words high dope, would
Yeah.
make it way worse.
Yeah. And I think we forgot to point out last time that alcohol is a silver memory and the silver ones are meant for like high ranking people.
Which, you know, her connection to prior to Museum and then to Bondo makes sense that she would
Mm-hmm.
have that.
So they all escape and
Except for Kiko and the butler, who die in a burning mansion, I assume. We don't see
yeah,
their bodies, so we can't say for sure, but
yeah.
also I'm kind of surprised Kuya wouldn't have, like, stowed away some stuff somewhere else, should he ever need it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd
Probably.
think he'd have done that, but, you know, based on what he's talked about, it doesn't seem so.
Yeah. So Scream is kind of disturbing.
Only a little?
The fact that she wants to take a picture after you die.
I mean, you know, you're like a serial killer. You need to have your little, like, trophy, heirloom.
Oh, I'm gonna take
You
a
need a souvenir.
selfie with your corpse. It'll be
Like,
so wonderful.
I know you got a little bit of a squeamish side, but like if you've listened to some of the crazy serial killers like Ed Gein and shit, that stuff got fucked real bad.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, like,
there has been inspiration for things like the serial killer that collects ears.
collects ears?
Yeah, that's a thing. That was used in a movie at one point. Like he would
Uh,
always cut off the left ear and keep it.
what,
That's taken from like a similar real life
was
serial
he
killer.
obsessed with Van Gogh?
I don't know. As far as I remember, the movie doesn't point to that at all.
Okay,
It was just an easy thing to take.
because if he was a fan of Van Gogh, I could see that.
Nope, it's just an easy thing to take.
Was it Van Gogh's left ear that got cut?
Don't
Yeah.
remember.
So I'm pretty sure it was.
Either way, point is, it's just an easy thing to take without having to, like, dig around in the guts or anything.
Yeah. So, Trial says that, hey, she survived this long. She's a tough
He doesn't
opponent.
actually say how long, though. I would think, like, at least for the audience, I would give out a number if it were me writing this.
Like 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Minutes?
because he didn't go to trial until after the guys had left already.
Uh-huh.
So how long is she survived this long against trial?
Ooh.
Because they wouldn't even know.
And we have a slight tease? I don't want to say exactly that at Trial's maximum drive where he does like the rapid fire kicks.
Machine gun kicks.
Yeah, Trial's maximum drive is that, but a lot faster and a lot more kicks.
I mean, wouldn't it take more just because if I recall correctly, Trial is weaker in general than the other
Yeah,
forms?
and I think his memory has a 10-second timer on it, and his maximum drive is he activates it, tosses up the memory in the air while he does his rapid fire kicks, and if it reaches 10 seconds, I think the memory turns off and he detransforms. So he needs to finish the maximum drive within 10 seconds.
I mean, if you're moving faster than the speed of sound, that shouldn't be too hard.
It's usually within the 8.5 to 9.5 second range.
Again, it shouldn't take that long if you're moving faster than the speed of sound. Also, we don't know what his max speed is.
I think I said last week that he can do like 100 meters in under 0.25 0.25 seconds or around 0.25 seconds.
What does that calculate out to, though? Like, we
Uh,
don't again, we don't have an exact number here.
and I know
And what does that compare to as far as like speed of sound versus other shit? Like you can tell me what the rate is all you want. That doesn't mean anything until I can compare it to something else. Like how much times the speed of sound is that?
100 meters in 0.25 seconds. So that's roughly 400 meters a second. I'm not too sure if I can do 400 meters a second. Oh, I'm maybe pretty close. I'm just going 100 meters a second in 0.25 seconds. I'm thinking it's pretty close to that exactly, but that is a little over 1.16 times the speed of sound.
Okay, so he's just barely above 1.5 times the speed of sound. All right.
1.1.
Oh, I thought you said 1.6.
1.16.
Okay, so just barely above the speed of sound. Assuming, he can't somehow get faster.
Right, but...
Because who knows? This is a sequel. He might get faster now. I don't know. He's had more practice with the memory.
It's actually a little bit slower than that because 100 meters in 0.27 seconds. So possibly about the speed of sound.
So he would be barely able to dodge her shit. Which also makes me wonder, because she's able to dodge his other kicks and stuff. Like, she's able to move faster than the speed of sound herself.
Yeah. So they're both incredibly fast fighters.
Yeah, because this is where the fun part comes in, where you start comparing people's abilities to other people's abilities. And you're like, well, if she can do that, why was she able to get hit here?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that. When I know this little factoid, and I can be like, but that makes no sense. Why did she die? She can move as fast as the speed of sound, if not faster.
Roughly 1.08 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, again, just barely scraping past. But again, if she's able to do that and, easily dodge his attacks the way she is, she's faster than that.
But her attacks are about the speed of sound.
Well, I mean, her like speed of sound, like screams are.
Yeah, but her speed itself.
That doesn't mean anything about like her punching you.
Mm-hmm.
Which means she could probably have just taken him out if she wanted to. She could probably have punched him because he couldn't keep up.
Yeah, so then Brachio appears.
Yeah, it erupts from underneath all the lovely snow.
And
who's riding on
enormous.
top of him? Oh, well, yeah, we got that from like when we got the pictures of them earlier in the series.
But I don't know if he has a smaller form or if that's his only form, like the gigantic one.
Well, and when we saw that original like picture, it's kind of hard to tell how far back he's sitting.
Yeah.
Because it's not a very clear picture in the intro. I wonder if they'll update that now that they've actually been revealed. Like if they'll fully show that.
Maybe.
Without darkening it on us.
Well, the other guy at the end didn't get fully revealed yet.
Which other guy?
There was another person standing on the rooftop at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, we know what he looks like based on the intro, because the intro didn't shadow the Dopant forms.
Right. So
may as well unshadow the people in their human forms.
Okay, maybe.
Their heads were in shadow when we have that shot.
Yeah, so maybe for the final 3 episodes, they'll be completely revealed.
Yeah, they could totally do that. It shouldn't be that hard, honestly, if it's set up right when you go in.
Yeah. So Bondo reveals himself, transforms into Aurora, and leaves.
Yep.
And
I guess it's fate, that we have to clash.
And I've noticed Aurora doesn't have physical hands. He has, like, energy hands.
It's like space hands.
Yeah. So I'm just like, can he transform his hands into other things? Because his hands seem to be made out of light or something.
Well, I mean, the Aurora... Here's the other thing. What are Auroras made of? Right? It's the Aurora Borealis is basically made from the ionized particles shooting off from the sun and hitting our magnetosphere and seeping in.
Okay.
So what would that potentially mean for what Aurora is, like
So
ability wise?
would
Is
that?
he radiation?
Ooh, maybe because like, but with does radiation at high enough degrees vaporize you?
I don't know. I've never looked at what the radiation's potential is. I literally just thought of this now.
Because Meganiora murder, he was kind of vaporized.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It looked like his skeleton was still mostly complete, but other than that, like there were definitely like parts of it missing, like disintegrated or something.
Ooh. So
Hard to say.
now that we have, you said you think the other guy may be Steam or something because
I'd have to double check what his dopant form is because I don't remember it
yeah,
offhand.
but
Steam, smoke, something like that, maybe.
it's probably listed on the Common Rider wiki by
Probably.
now because he's probably in the manga released his Dopant form by now.
Oh, most likely.
I'm
Also, I should point out, fucking Extreme is there, seeing all four of them. He should immediately know exactly how to defeat every single one now.
other guy wasn't
Other
in.
than Smoke Man, who wasn't there. All
Yeah.
the other three, he should immediately know how to beat.
Yes, because
Shouldn't even be a
the
question.
yeah, the extreme memory taps into the Gaia library instantaneously.
I'm still very disappointed that they can't just eat the power, essentially, like take it away from the memory.
Hmm.
From the way you had described Extreme to me before. It sounds like it should be able to reabsorb its power.
I guess. So they have the whole explanation of how the girls got selected and what happened when they were there, and how
Yep.
how Kiku was searching for a successor to her memory, and how like all the greediest girls would be selected. And I love the line of Shoto saying, "Hey, no offense," and Kanamori is like, "Hey, whatever. I'm a greedy bitch. I don't care."
Hey, look, I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah.
I mean, why
Although
else would you be there?
although she's a greedy bitch, she was kind of cute.
Was she tsundere enough for you?
I mean, compared to Kana or Kanamori, I think Kanamori
So,
was
so
just
here,
a little bit
here's
cuter.
here's my thing, right?
Yes.
I had a half second where I'm thinking, wait a minute. Because they start to try to explain, like, well, Kana, you don't make sense. Why the fuck were you here? Oh, I wanted to try something new and this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is she Scream? Because I was trying to think back. Was she there when Scream appeared? And
Oh.
she's putting on an act
Oh.
as, like, this Kana person.
Uh huh.
We do get a viewpoint of everyone at the end, and I am very much not believing it then, because it looks way too different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was, at least for the half second that I had that thought, there might have been a legitimate point of that. It would
Oh.
have also allowed, for an up close and personal view without Bondo having to be there, of
Hmm.
what Philip and Shotaro are like without the Kamen Rider guys on.
Oh. Interesting.
But that would also mean that she would have to have gotten the insert for the alcohol memory, which wouldn't make sense for someone that's already got a belt and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, the memories are inserted in the side of that belt, so I'm still thinking there's a double situation with those belts.
Ooh. And
Uh,
I'm still slightly worried about that.
but yeah, I definitely think that was a possibility that it could have been, but the situation just wouldn't make sense. Especially considering Bondo was not expecting to run into Double there.
Right.
So why would he plant someone?
Right. So we find out that Ku is like, well, I'm going to start my own business, and work my way up so I can be legitimate.
And I can pay you back the money I owe you for doing this case.
Yes, and Schroeder says like, hey, let's go out for a drink. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't drink.
Yeah, how well would have worked with the memory of the fucking alcohol dopant? He would have died instantaneously.
I just drink cider. That's what you saw me drinking earlier.
He said in my subs he called it oolong tea.
I did not write down his drink. I just put down he doesn't drink.
Yeah, because if he says cider, cider can be alcoholic.
It was probably tea. I'm just going to go with you on that.
Yep, because he's like, you got to play the part of the big money man. Got to make it look right. And apparently, that was enough to flabbergast fucking Shotaro to hell and back. I'm like, this is what you're hung up on? Really?
Yeah.
Not the fact that there's like a museum 2.0?
Yeah. So, what is this museum 2.0?
I don't know. According to Bondo, it's just a neighboring city.
Yep. Oolong tea.
Wow, you were as hung up on it as fucking Shotaro was.
Yep. So it was oolong tea. I was just said cider for. I don't know why.
Something tells me you want some apple cider.
You know, it's fall now. It's officially fall. I could go for some nice apple cider.
You could have gotten some earlier today.
I know.
There was plenty of places offering.
Yeah. That Bloomsburg Fair video should be up within the week this episode drops. Be sure to watch that. There's plenty of delicious food there.
Not to mention weird food.
Yes. And now we will be entering the 4th arc, which I believe is P is a devil. I could be wrong about that.
So we're going to stick with the idea that whoever it is, their last name is P. Or not their last name, but like their name is P. Yep. One of their names is P.
Hopefully they'll be...
It's Magi P!
Hopefully there'll be less P characters than K characters.
Yeah, because there were like 6 in this.
Yeah. So, come back with us next time.
We're not going to talk about the end one?
Oh,
the credits?
Yes, it is Akiko giving everybody drinks, and the butler is the best.
Yeah, who can hold their alcohol the best? That was the thing.
Yeah, and the butler is the winner.
Hey, look, it's still better than the freaking radio show.
Okay, Akiko...
Although they don't show us Kiku and how well she could hold the alcohol.
But...
So I feel like the butler would have lost.
No, remember Kiku... Oh, yeah.
They don't show us. I think she would have won.
Probably.
How well can she hold her alcohol? She wasn't drunk when she was using it.
So, Akiko or Mick? Whose section do you like more?
Mick. Easy.
Okay.
Mick. That one's way more funny to me. Just mock humanity. That's fun.
Okay, next time we'll start the last arc of this season. And hopefully we'll get some news on season 2 soon.
Can I leave the basement now? The monkey's been flicking like bugs at me the last 5 minutes.
Dude, I keep telling you, I have no idea how that monkey got there.
Oh, great. Now he's picking the fleas out of my hair. Or at least whatever might be in there.
Alright, we'll catch everybody later.
Can I leave now?